artists, we are going to be creating overlapping shapes and color blending artworks. We're going to be exploring color theory. We're going to be looking at our color wheel and looking at what happens when certain colors blend together. So we're going to talk about primary colors and secondary colors, and we'll have done all of this before the lesson. But the first thing you need to do for this drawing is you need to draw 3 shapes, nice and big, on your paper, and they need to overlap. So let's start with our first shape. I'm going to do a triangle first, and I'm going to draw it kind of on a diagonal to give it a little more of an interesting composition. You guys can borrow rulers from the drawer if you need to, but I'm just going to freehand it. I don't care if it's perfect. Okay, so there's my first shape, triangle. I made it nice and big, went almost all the way from the top to the bottom of my paper. Okay, shape number 2 has to overlap shape number 1. So it needs to go on top of it. So I'm going to go ahead and do a square or a rectangle. And then shape number 3 is going to overlap my second shape. So not my first shape. So I'm going to have a third shape. I'm going to do a circle. And that is overlapping my second shape. All right, so I have my 3 shapes, my triangle, my square, my circle. Now I'm going to make each one of those a primary color. So my 3 primary colors are yellow, blue, and red. So I'm going to make one of these yellow. So I'm going to go ahead and make my triangle yellow. So in my area of my triangle, I'm going to put a little Y, very lightly, because that's going to get erased. Not in the section where it overlaps, though. Just the area where my triangle is by itself is going to be yellow. My square, where it is by itself, I'm going to put a B because it's going to be blue. So not the area where it's overlapping, just the square where it's all alone is going to be blue. And then my circle is going to be, I have yellow, I have blue, I need red. I'm going to put an R for red. So my circle is going to be red right here. Now, shapes where they overlap, we need to think about what color that's going to make. So blue and yellow overlapping each other. Let's look at our color wheel. Blue and yellow, when we mix those together, we get green. So I'm going to put a G inside there because that section is going to be green. Now my blue and red, when they overlap each other, let's look at what happens when blue and red overlap. Blue and red, that is going to make purple, okay? So we are going to have purple here, so I'm going to put P for purple. And now I have my guide and I'm ready to go. We are working with a new material today. We should have already experimented with these paint sticks. So I should have talked about proper use for using these. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with one color. I'm gonna start with red over here, my circle. Before I start coloring, I need to erase. That's very important because it might not fully cover it. So I wanna take that R away and I'm going to start filling in my red part of my circle, not the part that's going to be purple, just the red part. And we're going to do a blending technique. So I will try to insert a photo of the finished artwork, but we're going to be blending all of our colors with a little bit of white. It's just going to give it this really cool kind of gradient look. So I'm going to start on one side of my shape, coloring it. And when I use these paint sticks, again, we probably already practiced, I kind of like to use the side. And it's okay if it gets a little messy. It goes outside the line a little bit because we will be doing a black outline. But on one side of my shape, I'm going to fill it in all the way, leaving no white spaces. Get to the other side of my shape, I'm going to gradually start letting it get a little bit lighter, not pressing as hard, and there will be some white spaces, you'll see. So I'm not pressing as hard with my paint stick, and it's getting a little splotchy, and that's what I want. I want it to be lighter and not all the way filled in. See that? See how it's lighter and over here it's completely filled in, over here it's not. That's what we want. Okay, put the lid back on this. And then you're gonna grab your white paint stick, and on the side where you did not fill it all the way in, you are gonna blend it with your white. I'm gonna blend that white a little bit into my darker red section. Kind of going in little circular motions to try and get that to fully blend in. Okay, let me put the cap back on, and then I'm actually going to go back in with my red just to blend this harsh line. I want to blend that a little bit more. make it a little softer. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking for. We're looking for this like kind of gradient blend from light red to dark red. Hey, I am all done filling in my colors. Our last step is to make sure we put our name on it. So we're gonna actually put our name on the front of this artwork, right on the front. And then for our backgrounds, we are gonna create some kind of pattern, whatever pattern you want, with the black temper stick. But before we do that, we are gonna trace all of our shapes. Okay, so now I'm gonna create my pattern background. You could do stripes, you could do zigzags, you could do polka dots, just something to give that background a little bit of visual interest. Okay, and I'm all done. So that's it, the artwork is finished. Hope you guys have fun creating this one.